Most successful professionals I work with have hit a career plateau that they never saw coming. They've done everything right. They've climbed the ladder, earned those promotions, even built a great reputation. But now they're asking themselves, is this it? Am I just going to do this for the next 10 to 15 years? And after working with hundreds of professionals and leaders through career transitions, I've discovered that the problem is that most high achievers are working against their natural wiring rather than with it. So in this video, I'm going to show you my exact step-by-step method to find work that actually aligns with who you've become and also who you want to be, so that you can move from feeling stuck to having complete clarity about your next career chapter. Now, to start, you need to understand that most successful professionals think that career fulfillment is about finding the perfect role, when actually it's about understanding your internal wiring first. Let me take you back to 2019. I'd been a partner for a few years at KPMG, one of the world's biggest professional services firms. I was leading big financial services clients. I was the head of people for a large part of the firm in the UK. I was highly rated, paid very well, and had, I think, a lot more potential to progress. But I felt increasingly unfulfilled and restless about doing the same kind of work for another 10 to 15 years or so. So I was really conflicted. I was very grateful for my success, but I was getting less and less enjoyment from what I was doing. And I was increasingly drawn towards work that I thought was going to be much more energizing and meaningful to me. And I spent nearly 2 years wrestling with whether I should leave to set up my own coaching and professional development business. And then there was one moment which pretty much changed everything for me, which is when I reframed the choice that I thought I had. And instead of focusing on what I was going to lose by leaving, I asked myself what I was actually going to regret in the future. And I realized that if I didn't have a go at starting my own business, I was going to regret that far more than if I did leave to start my own business and it didn't work out. So when I thought about it that way, it actually made the decision very easy for me. And in that process, I discovered what I think is a universal lesson, that career fulfillment isn't about landing the perfect role. It's about three things. When those three things are misaligned, the bad news is that no amount of external success is going to feel satisfying for you. And if you feel stuck despite your success, you're not alone. Most people don't get these three things aligned. Most people have settled. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the 3 steps of my Atomic Ambition Career Clarity Method so that you can finally be really happy and fulfilled in your work. So let's take a look at step 1. Step 1 is all about identifying the character strengths that make you, you. And these are the foundations of the work that you enjoy doing. So these are things like honesty and leadership, teamwork, creativity, and bravery. And the quickest and easiest way I've found to identify these for yourself is to take something called a Values in Action Character Strength Survey. If you search for VIA Character Strengths, you'll find the free assessment. I've got no affiliation with it. I think it's really good. It takes about 10 minutes to do. And you'll get a PDF with 24 strengths listed in order. And we only care about your top strengths. So in my case, my own top strengths are honesty, hope, and social intelligence. And I think that explained why the people aspects of my role energized me more than perhaps the more technical aspects of the job. So when I was coaching a colleague or building client relationships, I felt much more alive than when I was poring over spreadsheets. So a common mistake here is assuming that the work that you're good at or the role that you're currently doing reflects your character strengths. That's a big mistake because most people's dissatisfaction in their career comes from doing work that doesn't feel right for them, no matter how good they are at it. They feel like they're wasting who they really are. I had a client recently, a successful CFO, who discovered that his top strengths were teamwork, humor, and kindness. This explained why he didn't really enjoy the number crunching parts of his role, but he did feel really energized when working on projects across the business, and in his words, humanizing the numbers, because those things played to his character strengths. Okay, so that's step 1, about identifying your character strengths. We're doing this because they're directly going to impact the work that you enjoy. The next step is to identify your work strengths. So if your character strengths are about the type of person you are, your work strengths are about the things you're good at. I think I was very good at a lot of the things I needed to be good at to progress quickly in my previous career. So understanding the technical details of the work that needed to be done, managing my teams, building client relationships, operating as part of a leadership team. All of those things, I think, helped me to progress quite quickly at KPMG. And you probably already know the things that you're very good at. But if you don't, you can look back over your calendar, your emails, messages for the last few weeks, and just identify the things that you absolutely nailed, the things that you did really, really well. And once you've got this list, you then want to categorize them into types of activities, a bit like the technical details and team management that I just mentioned for me. But you want to avoid a really common mistake here. So many people stop with this list of things that they're really good at and think, well, yeah, I should just go and find a job that lets me do more of those things. That's a really bad approach, because just because we're good at something doesn't mean we actually enjoy it. So out of that list of things that you've now come up with, you need to narrow it down to the things that you actually enjoy doing. What you're really looking for here are those activities that energize you. They're the parts of your job that you look forward to doing. So for me, in my previous role, I was good at the technical details of the work, but did I look forward to reviewing some of the more complex technical work? Probably not. I could do it and I could do it well, but it didn't really energize me. In fact, it left me quite drained. But if I was helping one of my colleagues land a promotion, yeah, that lit me up. So you want to narrow down your list of the categories of things you're good at to those you also enjoy. And in Atomic Ambition, I make this very easy for you, as we've got some brilliant AI tools to help you. One person I worked with recently realized that while she was really good at producing detailed strategy decks and presenting them to leadership teams, she didn't actually enjoy doing it, no matter how much sort of people thought she was good at it. But she did come alive when she was working with those same strategic topics, but in a much more collaborative setting. So working together with different leadership teams to come up with the strategy, rather than doing it on her own and presenting it back. Now, that might seem like a small difference, but it highlights the point that you have to identify the context and the environment for the work that you enjoy doing, as much as the content of your work. Once she noticed this pattern, she restructured her role that she was in these collaborative environments much more often. Okay, so you've done step 1 to identify your character strengths, and step 2 to identify your work strengths. Step 3 is to identify what outcomes you actually want from your ambition. Now, this isn't about specific roles that you might do, or companies you might work at, or businesses you might start. It's about what emotional outcomes you want from doing these various things. So the emotional outcomes that I'm referring to here are things like autonomy, fulfillment, freedom, flexibility, and recognition. So for example, when I decided to leave KPMG, I wanted a career that was going to give me much more autonomy over what I was doing, where I was doing it, and when I was doing it. And I also wanted the fulfillment that I know I get from making a positive difference in people's lives. And I also wanted recognition, both in terms of people's gratitude for helping them, but also recognition in financial terms, because I still wanted to earn a lot of money. The way to think about this for yourself is to imagine your dream career working out and you picturing what your life would be like. You can start by describing a typical day. Where do you wake up? How do you start your morning? What kind of projects are you working on? What type of people are you interacting with? And then broaden it out to things like, how much flexibility do you have? What impact are you having on others? How are you rewarded financially? Write down the specifics for you, and then extract the emotional outcomes from them. So a common mistake here is to only think in terms of tangible outcomes. But when you go a step deeper to the emotional outcomes, you understand much more about why particular roles will be appealing to you because of those more important things that they give you. Someone else I worked with recently came up with 2 very simple emotional outcomes that were guiding her. One was the recognition that she'd get from being a thought leader in sustainability, and the other was the security she'd feel at a particular income level. And that clarity has helped her to evaluate job and business opportunities and confidently say no to roles that didn't align with both of those emotional outcomes. Okay, so that's it for the 3 steps. But wait, you now need to pull all of your hard work together into something I call your career ambition statement. So this is a short 3-sentence statement that becomes your career compass that you'll use to quickly evaluate all decisions about jobs, companies, or business opportunities. So here are the 3 sentences that you need. The first is about who you are. And this first sentence starts with the words, I am somebody who values ... And then what you want to do is plug in your top values from your character strengths. So for me, for example, I'm someone who values honesty, draws hope from future possibilities, and intuitively understands people's emotions. The second sentence is about the work that you should do. So this sentence starts with the words, I feel most alive at work when I'm ... So this sentence will name all of the categories of work from your work strengths. So for example, for me, I feel most alive at work when I'm coaching people and helping them align their ambition with who they are now and who they want to become. And finally, the third sentence, these are the emotional outputs that you're aiming for. So this third sentence starts with the words, I want to feel. So for example, for me, I want to feel in control over the what, where, and when of my work. I want to feel fulfilled from making a positive impact on people's lives. And I want to be recognized as such so that it enables me to earn a good income. So I put all three together for me. I'm someone who values honesty, draws hope from future possibilities, and intuitively understands people's emotions. I feel most alive at work when I'm coaching people and helping them align their ambition with who they are now and who they want to become. I want to feel in control over the what, where, and when of my work. I want to feel fulfilled from making a positive impact on people's lives. And I want to be recognized as such so that it enables me to earn a good income. When you've got this written for yourself, you'll find that this clarity gives you incredible confidence. When we do this in Atomic Ambition, we use some powerful AI tools to help us craft something that is much more detailed, which you can use with much greater precision to help you decide what the right next move is going to be for you. And this career ambition statement not only acts as a filter for assessing opportunities, but it also ensures that when you're interviewing, you set yourself apart from everybody else because you're able to articulate why the role is such a good fit for you, not just that you can do the role. When you complete this method, you'll stop feeling stuck and will finally feel excited about your future instead of settling for your present. So if you want to move from feeling stuck to having complete clarity and confidence about your next career chapter, start with this step-by-step method I've just shown you. But you won't find the work you meant to do unless you can break free from the professional habits that are keeping you trapped in the first place. So watch this video next, where I break down the subtle professional habits that are keeping you stuck, despite all of your success. Because even with perfect clarity, these hidden habits will sabotage your progress every time.